Hello and welcome to another time and place. My name is Alex Bardy and Agents in Time is our time travelling game for 2 to 6 players. Once you're familiar with the game, it shouldn't take more than 20 minutes per player to complete, but it's worth allowing an extra hour for that first game while you're learning the ropes and familiarising yourself with the basic tactics and strategies of the gameplay. Agents in Time utilises familiar mechanics in a novel way to bring you a fast and fun time-travelling simulation that will have you flitting in and out of multiple timelines, changing history and almost certainly stitching up other players. With a unique combination of worker placement, abstract strategy and a constantly changing board, Agents in Time provides an experience unlike any other game. Your objectives and targets will change throughout, the unique scoring tracker will turn into a second battleground in addition to the one on the board, and you'll almost certainly want to play another game to try a different approach next time. You win the game by assigning your agents to time spots on the board, completing objectives, fixing the timeline at these time spots, and avoiding the Xanadu time patrol. The scoring tracker is where a lot of the magic takes place, and as you can see, each player starts the game with a number of paradox points and a number of black spots. We call them blots for short, and your aim is to reduce both your blot count and your paradox points down to 0, thus winning the game and showing the other players how it's done. Take a good look at this scoring tracker though, because it can turn a bit ugly later in the game. Your agents can move around the board as well as jumping in and out of time, but you also really need to make sure you're avoiding the dreaded Xanadu time patrol, because if they catch up with you, you'll be thrown into jail double quick. The time patrol moves after every player takes an action and will prove a constant source of headache throughout the game. We love them. One of the things that really makes this game is the manner in which the scoring works and how integrated this is to the core gameplay. Your block count and paradox points will shuffle backwards and forwards on this tracker, but your paradox points can never push your block count down towards 0, whereas your block counts will always push your paradox points back up. They can never share the same space unless it's the 0 column, which will signify the end of the game, of course, so other players will use that to their advantage. So, how does it work? Well, when your agent chooses to flip a time spot, either to its paradoxed or resolved state, all the agents on that time spot will either gain or lose blots on the score tracker. And on top of that, there'll always be a ripple effect, which means an adjacent time spot will also need to be flipped, with blots gained and lost accordingly, depending, of course, on whether or not there were any other agents caught on that time spot as well, including your own, by the way. All of the gameplay is driven by the objective deck, and these will determine how your individual game plays out. There are standard objectives and extended objectives, and these cards will influence the way you play the game, and all of them will help towards victory when you complete them. There is also plenty of opportunity for conflicts of interest to arise, because the objective deck has been designed so that every event appears on the cards twice in its normal state, indicating the event has to happen, and 3 times in its paradox state, indicating this event has to be stopped or prevented from happening in order to complete that objective. As you can see, the modular design of the board is built around a main timeline, and if you start messing around with this by flipping events and preventing them from happening, or vice versa, which is something you'll have to do to complete your objectives, you'll need to draw an event card. Now, most of these are bad, but there are some helpful ones in there too. A good rule of thumb is to try and avoid drawing too many event cards, but as well as mixing things up and adding a bit of randomness to the game, they can prove to be really useful as well, and can certainly come to the rescue when you're in a tight spot. This game has undergone extensive playtesting and numerous design makeovers, especially over the last 6 months or so, and we're really pleased with how it's all turned out. The flexibility in the design means you can set this game in any era or time zone, be it real history or something a bit more fantasy or science fiction orientated. If there's a viable timeline of events to work with, this game can accommodate it. We absolutely love it and sincerely hope you do too. Thank you for allowing us to share this journey with you.